Namaste, Sawadika everyone. This is Sanjana Timsina for Indothai News. And today with me I have the Managing Director and CEO of Thermax Limited, a sustainable solutions for energy and environment providing company. So we are very glad to have you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sanjana, and namaste and swadika to all your viewers as well.
Yes. So as we move on with our today's interview, I'm sure a lot of people already know about what Thermex Limited does, but we would love to hear more about what exactly Thermex is doing and how has it grown over the years. So would you please elaborate more on what the company is exactly doing all around
Okay.
the world?
Thermax started more than 50 years ago in India, starting to provide heating related solutions. And if you can imagine, heat is something that is needed in everything that we do.
Mm,
When we cook food at our homes, we need heat. The work that we do is at large industrial scales.
mm,
And after that, we grew into everything that was around clean water,
mm,
uh, pollution control equipment, variety of different things.
mm,
As we look at Thermax today, the role that we see for our company is to be a trusted partner to our customers as they go through energy transition. Climate
okay.
change is the biggest challenge that the world has. At the heart of climate change is how do we manage energy more effectively,
Mm.
and to be that partner that can help you manage energy more effectively is where Thermax comes in.
Okay, that's really interesting. So I've seen like a lot of articles how this company has been expanding worldwide. So what are your plans for expanding in Southeast Asia? Because now that you're here in Bangkok, we
Sure.
would love to hear more about how you see this area as a potential area for developing your company and your plans and your visions as well.
Okay, Southeast Asia is easily one of the most important markets
Mm,
for Thermax. And our hope and our aim is to not treat it like an international market, but treat it like a local market for us,
mm,
which means that we need strong capability, not just in ability to do sales, but have deep ability to do services, work very closely with our customers to understand
mm,
what their specific problems are and to be able to address those problems
mm,
locally. We've been in the region for nearly 35 to 40 years,
mm.
all
That's
across.
really
In Thailand
interesting.
alone, we have more than nearly 600 installations.
Mm,
In Southeast Asia, we have a plant in Indonesia. We do all kinds of projects from Philippines to Vietnam
mm.
to Thailand, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia.
There are like
I
multiple
love
countries.
it's
Yes.
yes, and it is something that is very very close to us
Mm,
because the challenges that companies face in all of these
mm,
markets
mm.
are challenges that we think are very similar to what we can work on and solve
Mm.
for our customers.
Okay, so now when you mention about the challenges that you're facing, I would like to know, like, do you think the energy problems that Thailand example is facing is similar to the problem that Malaysia is facing, or do you think the problems and issues are completely different from one country to another?
There are differences,
Mm,
but the biggest statement on how do I transition to a
mm,
more carbon neutral solution,
mm.
that is how do I provide energy at a cost effective basis to
Yes, yes.
all my users. That is a common theme,
Mm,
even though the solution may differ. For
mm.
example, the palm oil industry.
Yes.
Yeah, it is a big industry all across the region,
Mm,
but Indonesia it is very, very deep and entrenched. It
mm.
is having different solutions on what do I do with my entire palm industry?
Yes,
How do I
yes.
treat palm waste? All of that. They may have a different way of dealing with it
Mm,
than a Thailand or a Malaysian customer may do.
mm,
But
mm.
the problem of how do I take this palm waste and bring it into useful forms
Mm,
is a common issue that is across all our customers. So
yes.
not only energy is a common issue, how do we clean up our air?
The waste
The
management.
waste management bit is a
Mm,
common bit. How do you clean up the air is a very important. So
mm,
all across the region, pollution norms are getting stronger and stronger. They differ
exactly.
from country to country, but they're getting stronger and stronger. How
Mm,
do you deal with water and effluent treatment? The
mm.
rules may differ across the countries, but again, across the world, the norms are getting
The
stronger and
stronger.
stronger.
Yes,
So while
exactly.
there are differences, we see enough common themes, and if you are able to work closely with the customer on what
Mm,
is their problem, and be able to listen to that, you can do very, very interesting things.
Yes, yes, exactly. Because I see like the climate change and how the effects, the environmental effects that our companies are causing has been a very great threat to a lot of people. Like there are a lot of people and a lot of areas who complain about the waste management done by chemical companies and then these and all. So how do you think, like, is it difficult for your company to address, will it be difficult for your companies to address these kind of issues in the future? Like, are you coming up with new and better way to tackle these kind of issues?
So we are taking our entire company and we are changing everything about our company just so that we can address the problem of climate
Yes,
change
yes.
effectively. So if I have to say one statement, that is what is driving almost everything we are doing within Thermax. Let me share a few examples.
Examples, yes.
Yeah, perhaps the single biggest thing is biomass waste and how do you convert that into something useful. Yeah, and as a company, we can run hundreds of different kinds of biomass waste and convert it into steam and to power. But increasingly now, we are working on converting it into CNG, almost into any form that our customers may need. Ultimately, we are people where the carbon that the plant collects, if we don't use that well, that carbon is wasted. Yeah, like it is burned, you burn wood at home or you let it rot or whatever. We have a great opportunity across the planet to be able to use that biomass and biomass waste because it's a renewable source
Yes, yes.
into a useful supply. So there is a lot that we are doing to be able to meet that. The second example I would give is on water and water management. The chemical plants that you talked about, all the textile plants, automotive, whatever is the effluent, which is the waste of the
Yes,
industrial plant,
yes.
a few decades ago, we would put that into our rivers. In no
Exactly.
country now would they allow an industrial plant to put waste into the river because we know that water is precious.
Yes,
Yeah, the
yes.
fishes that live out there are precious. We have to preserve every life.
Exactly. There is like irrigation plants going from the same water and
Completely,
everything.
yeah,
Yes.
completely. So what we provide now is zero liquid discharge solutions, effluent treatment solutions, so that not a single drop is wasted. And the water that comes out of industrial plants, we clean it up enough that as much of it can be reused as possible. So we are putting in a lot of technology to be able to do these wonderful things.
Yes.
The challenge that I see is actually not technology, but getting the attention of the customers and to be able to explain to them
That why you
technically
need
why we need giving them confidence that we can do this cost effectively and all of those things. If we can achieve that, then sky is the limit.
I think so because like a lot of companies now that they're growing, they have this thing in mind that they have to be sustainable. They have to practice all kind of, ethical way of conducting their business. And I think renewable source of energy is one of the most biggest potential areas where the companies can tap. And I think what your company is providing is really, really good solutions for the company as well. But I have one question for you. That is how in today's world, there is a lot of digitalization of businesses. Like even in smallest of the things, we see how the companies are growing digital. So how do you think as sustainable energy providing company, do you think you also have that area to tap into and grow, or do you think it's not for your company to
Oh
grow
no,
digitally?
it is extremely important because you cannot be a partner to your customers to help them work through energy transition if you do not understand what they do. And to understand what they do, a critical parameter is data, which means and data is everywhere in our personal worlds. We use Google Maps. Yeah, if I have to go from point A to point B, you say okay, Google Map, and I go from A to B. I may know the road, but now I trust technology more than I trust
Yes,
myself.
yes, yes, exactly.
In industrial plants, the same thing happens, but the opportunity is multifold. Our equipments all across tell us a whole lot of data. Yeah, they give us enough information. And we earlier this year launched an extremely powerful platform called Edge Live. Edge Live collects data from the asset and gives our customers real time, very valuable information on the health of their asset, efficiency of their asset. Are they working it as effectively as they could? And we are seeing some amazing stories on customers saying, this is what is going on, and can I do better?
Okay.
Imagine if you had an ECG in your heart all the time. Every time you eat a piece of food, if it told you you're doing this to your heart, you would be a lot more careful
Yes,
in what
yes.
you ate or what you did not eat.
Yes,
We are
exactly.
trying to do that with our equipment, bringing very advanced algorithms, and this is a place where, for our kind of equipment, the work that Thermax is doing is some of the best anywhere in the world. So digital is at the heart of what we are looking to do,
Okay.
because it's only with data can we be a real partner to our customers.
Okay. So I see that you have a very ambitious plan for the company, not just for the company, but for our whole world in general. So I would like to ask you, is it difficult for you to find people with similar interest and ideas and knowledge to be a part of your team? Because I see like a lot of people, they have something to say about the company, they have something to do, but when it comes down to actually making it work, you really need people with the right knowledge and information. So how do you think it is easy to find these kind of people to be a part of your team?
Sanjana, that's a very good question. And I would say that industrial companies, including Thermax, for a for maybe a decade or so in between, the younger people would not join companies like this because they think it perhaps is not cool. You're an industrial
Yes,
company and you're working that.
exactly.
My message to that would be that if you want to change the world, you want to address climate change, you want to make the world a more sustainable place, the work actually happens on the ground. Yeah, in being able to bring new technologies to bear, to be able to provide services surrounding working in plants, working on the ground. And our industrial companies are changing like we have never in the last 50 years. We are bringing a lot of innovation, lot of new things, new ways of working as well.
Yes.
So I really encourage the youth anywhere, whether you are in Southeast Asia, you're in India, or anywhere, to look at industrial companies again. Because if you want to change the planet, this is the place to do it.
Yes, exactly. That's a really, really good message that you've given, because I think that boost and that push, our generation really needs it, because they have a lot of ideas, but they, when it comes to actually working for it, they're like very skeptical because they don't know how they can go ahead with this big of an idea. So thank you so much for giving your message to our audience. And as we move on with the interview, I would like to ask something on a more personal level. So I see you have very big passion and love towards your work. You really value and you really care for the environment. So that's why it can be seen in your work as well. Do you think you were always this passionate about the environment and about the work you were doing, or was it something or some event that led you to think about this in a bigger scale?
Look, I'll share a story. I was in the US for a very, very long time. And then when I came back to India, the first Diwali that we had, and it's a big thing in India,
Yes.
we burned firecrackers. And when I came back, I said, I've not been in India for very long. I grew up in India. I should be burning firecrackers.
Yes.
And the first Diwali, I took my kids out and we burned firecrackers, and we had a lot of fun doing that. But next day, when my kid was going to school, what we had done to the air all around, and he was coughing as he was walking to his school bus, I realized that what we were doing was wrong. Yeah, and even our traditions, things that we hold close to our heart, as we go look into the future, we have to question with a new eye almost everything. Looking back at the fundamental question around, are we leaving the planet in a way that our children and their children we will be
Can
able to
use.
enjoy it as much as we have enjoyed it?
Yes.
So, no one single incident as such, but I do think I have changed. And if I can change, I think others can as well.
That's really, really nice of you. That's really nice. So when you were talking, giving previous examples about how you can use like biogases and everything, I would like to come back to more of your professional life, a professional work, and what you're doing. So there is a very huge area for new energy or the renewable sources of energy. So, what are your thoughts on those, and how do you think a lot of companies can incorporate these sources of energy for their workings and production?
Look, I would say every company out there will have to look at what is their journey to reduce their carbon footprint. And the answer will differ from company to company, but every industry and every company will go through this transition. If they do not, they will be made extinct by their customers, by their employees, by laws as they change. Renewable energy is a big part of that story. Um, Solar, wind, batteries, they have the ability to provide energy. You also have hydrogen. Hydrogen will come in as in a very, very big way into the next decade. And we are already seeing big projects being announced around hydrogen, replacing gas and fossil fuels as a source of energy. Finally, biomass has tremendous potential for being converted into sustainable aviation fuel, sustainable chemicals. One more big area is waste. We generate so much of waste in our cities, everywhere we go. Yeah, every city has a waste dump. That waste dump is actually an energy source if we use
Exactly.
it effectively, bring about. So we see solutions all around us. Yeah, the question is, how do these solutions become cost effective? And that is the work that is going on to bring the cost of these solutions lower and lower. But everybody will have to be prepared that if we want to make the world a better place, we will
We'll
have to
have to
spend a little
contribute
bit
it.
more.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we cannot expect that everything will be cheaper, yet it will be cleaner. We will have to pay a little bit more. And then even plants that run coal, as an example, yeah, even coal can be made cleaner. There are a lot of ways to cut pollution out of coal, to make sure that coal doesn't dirty up your rivers and doing all that. So we can take small steps in every industry that we are in. And that is Thermax's role. We are not coming in and just saying, be 100% sustainable. We are coming and saying, wherever you are, get on that journey of becoming sustainable, and we can be your partner
Partner to
in
it.
this journey towards sustainability.
Exactly. That's a really, really good concept because that's what people need right now, and that's what companies need right now. Like they cannot change overnight to 100% like clean energy, but they can slowly try and develop towards
Hopefully
it.
fast trying to make
Yes,
that happen.
I'm sure after they see our video and after they get our message, I'm sure a lot of our audience will also be interested in knowing more about what kind of work that Thermix has been doing and how they can incorporate it in their business. So as we come towards the end of our interview, I'd like to request you to give a short message to our viewers. It can be based on your personal experience or based on your professional experiences. So what message would you like to give to our audience?
Look, my message would be very, very simple. Yeah, the world around us is in a place perhaps that in for centuries the challenge that we have is a challenge that all of humanity faces. And this is not a challenge of one country or a different country, because our air and the climate change cannot be solved by just 10 European countries or one Western country cleaning up. We all are in this together.
Yes.
And so the partnership that is needed, the trust in each other that is needed, the joint development that needs to get needed is more important than ever before. So I hope that we look at not just in what is in it for me, but we look at this because a lot of new things have to be done. The partnership approach that is needed to make things happen is the most important approach of today that is needed. And I hope whatever we are doing, we look at it with this open mind and with the idea to cooperate and partner.
Thank you very much. And I'm sure, like our audience, after this interview, they can get a lot of knowledge and insight on how climate change has been working and how they can put their step in bettering our environment and bettering our world for ourselves and our future generation. Thank you so much for giving us your time. We had a great time with you.
Thank you, Sanjana, for giving me this opportunity. And I thank all the viewers for listening to this. Thank you.